HMP Aylesbury. Here we come. Very, very high security young offenders. There's the wings there. I spent 1 year here from 2012 to 2013. It's a very, very tough prison. I remember being in there as my second prison and my second young offenders. I remember the officers, they used to go 10, 9, 8, and when they got to 1, you had to run to your cell, and if you didn't run to your cell in time, they give you an IEP. So this is the side of the prison there. It's a massive place, but obviously this is on a public footpath, so you're on a main road here, and that's where the prison is. There we go. We have done a few today, so this is number 4. I think they're doing building works on it. There's just an officer that just went by there. I think they're building works in Aylesbury now. Restoring the place. If you guys watch EastEnders, by the way, a few years ago from here, you had Ronnie and Kat on the programme get released. Like as a prison thing, but this is obviously a real life prison here. Look at that. What a hell of a place. That's when you get released, or you go in, you're going through that gate. Let's have a walk around. One hell of a place. 8 years ago I was in there. So that is another bit to the prison there. So yeah, we're going to keep walking around. They boarded up a fence now. See, when I was in here, it was slightly different. So if you're getting released from Aylesbury, which I'm sure not a lot of people will, that is the local bus stop there for it. That is just basically normal buildings across the road from the prison. It's the stores bit of the prison. There's more of the prison. It's very, very fading away, like tooth decay here. It's a very high security prison. For a security prison to be there, and then like a main road there, which is quite strange for me, really. I'm going to keep walking. Wow, look at this. So this is the prison here, and then you've got Oxford Health there. So it's very strange for me. Very, very different. Have an officer here. There's a lot of police around this area. Yeah, we just had an officer up there. We'll see if we can get him on camera. But yeah, so when I did spend my time here, obviously being a high security young offenders, very, very strict, and that was in 2013, 8 years ago now. So obviously, and in this place when I was there, when I was on C wing, the induction wing, they basically said to me, do you want to stay here for longer? And I said, no, thank you very much. Yeah. Why not? I'm an auditor. This is my job. I do this for a living. That is the front gate of the prison there. This is a public footpath, and obviously we're allowed to film from public. That barbed wire is obviously illegal as well. They get fined every year for that barbed wire. But just look at that for an intimidating place. Obviously I lived there myself, so I remember the prison. Had an officer there just interacting, and for me, I just want to tell my story. I don't want to be shutting up and told I can't do this, I can't do that, when it's legal. It's all above law. We're allowed to do this. We will do this. It's clearly a problem. 1 year inside for a lot of people without a visit. They need to sort it out. The visiting centre's just down there. Not that many visits are going on. They need to sort this problem. They are letting them have legal visits and probation and stuff coming up, but they won't let them see their families just because they're in prison. They're getting punished again. So this is another side of the prison. Just another officer on by there. Yeah, I mean, the time now is lunchtime anyway for the officers. I mean, for a high security prison to have it on basically a main road. Everyone's obviously getting into a taxi. I mean, it doesn't make sense. For me, if it's such a high security prison, why have you got it on a main road? What? Like, doesn't make any, look how old this is. It just doesn't make any sense. And yeah, when I was on here, the induction room was C wing, and then they moved me to B wing, and they've ended up putting me in the basement. Very, very cold, a lot of cockroaches, basically very, very bad living conditions. I mean, I know they're rebuilding here now, but just to treat a human being like we was treated there, it's a disgrace. You only had 30 minutes to use a razor, so basically you were forcing and rushing just to shave your beard, or a lot of boys used to shave their hair off because it was so messy and dirty in there that they have to shave their hair off just to feel clean. And it was like you have 30 minutes to do that. Exercise was always cancelled, visits always cancelled, it was always delays. Now this place is like doom. When you're here, you never seem to leave. Now they come to me when I was a year in here, they said, do you want to stay? I just turned 21 in there. I said, no thank you, I want to move to an adult. And it was like there were some few boys in there that were 25. Now I thought as a young offenders, if you've hit a certain age, you have to move to an adult jail. But this prison here, they seem to want to keep a lot of lads. And they had like red band, so if you behaved, kept your head down, you got a red band status, which means as a prisoner you could walk through the whole prison. Obviously the officers have to open the gates for you and stuff. But yeah, so that's what they were trying to give me, but I wanted to move on and get into an adult establishment. I didn't like the strictness. It got to a point in there where I bought a watch on the canteen, which they sell, which is basically shopping, and they said I can't have it, even though I paid for it. They said you can't have it because it's a security risk and you can time your escape. But then they had other watches on there, which was not the digital one, do you know, like the 24-hour display one. They said you can have that one. Also, you can time your escape on a digital watch, but you can't time your escape on another one. And it's just, the system's so dated and it just needs changing, like not just it getting revamped and stuff, it just needs, the whole system needs a reboot. The boys in here, a lot of long-termers, they done a documentary on this place a few years ago when I was here. They dramatised it, made it a lot worse than it was. What they need to highlight really is the real issues, not just say it's so violent and the staff can't breathe, they need to up their wages. They just need to understand for the mental health problems that a lot of these boys are suffering in here from the strict conditions. And you can understand being in prison if you commit murder, you will generally be in a harder prison. It's just for an 18, 19-year-old lad to be going through that for 5 or 6 years, the mental health problems it causes. And it's just, it clearly didn't work with the strictness they were doing. A lot of boys were rebelling, and it was all down to respect. Now the officers in there, they didn't have a lot of respect. I can't judge every single one, but I'm just saying, when I was in there, say it was like 7 AM, officer burst into my room. He said, get up, get up. I said, why? I haven't got a job. He said, no, just get up, stop being lazy. I said, why? And then basically turned my light on, woke me up. So I'm up at 7 AM. There's nothing to do. You're banged up for 23 hours a day. There was no exercise. The exercise was at 7 AM then. It was a very weird day. They done exercise very early. Yeah, he just said, wake up. And I said, what for? And then I got woken up and had to sit in the cell. And a lot of the times in there, when I first went in there, they turned the TV off at a certain time. So it was like 10 PM and all lights were out. But I know they've changed that now. A lot of people are wearing masks outside, which is not part of law. So yeah, this is the back end of the prison. It is a very, very intimidating place. I think I've lived in there, and it's the gangs as well. This is what another thing they don't really tell you. So Aylesbury's in Buckinghamshire, right? Now a lot of lads from London will end up in here, and you've got all that London trouble. So you've got the gang violence, and then you mix that on top of a very strict regime. You've got a lot of violence in here, a lot of violence. And it's a lot of boys that are young, they're immature, they're trying to learn, and they're just put in situations where they feel they need to fight or flight. That's like the expression, fight or flight. And if they flight and be cowards, they're looked down upon, and basically like they get bullied, or if they fight, they could end up like getting a little bit of reputation for a hard man, and then they end up with longer years in jail. Now I would say how I survived it, I just kept my head down. I did buy a PlayStation 2, which took about 6 weeks, because they used to you didn't work in there, so you'd only get money sent in, so it'd be like 15 quid a week. If you was enhanced, I think it was £25 a week would get dropped down, and then you just save up. And then I used to just sit there all day playing the PlayStation 2. I don't know what rehabilitation I got. It was jack, nothing. And that's all I did in there, was read books and just try and learn, because clearly I did something wrong to go in there. But it was just the approach from the officers, not every single one, and the environment you're living in is very, very, how can I explain it, like eerie, and you want to fight, or it's fight or flight on a daily basis. So it's very difficult for these lads, and these places basically need to be shut down, because they're doing no good to anybody. They're just causing a lot of stress for the lads. Excuse me, officer, what's your view on the coronavirus and people not having a visit? Lovely. This is what we get. I mean, we're filming prisons. These officers are meant to be teaching people about the law and helping them, and they can't have a visit for 1 year. And when you ask them, like, they're very aggressive, and not every single one, but they just don't want to answer questions. I mean, it's a valid question I'm asking. 1 year without a visit. Now, this environment, on top of not having a visit, it's horrendous. And all I would say is keep going, lads. You'll get there in the end. Try your best. Keep your head down as best as you can. Don't let the officers get to you, because there are some good ones and some bad ones. Unite with the fellow boys you're in there with. I know it's a lot of long-termers and dangerous crimes, and it's hard for a lot of people to associate with others, but do it, because you'll get through it. You'll survive. There's another officer in the car, and you'll get through this place. And it's only a passing sentence here, so you'll get your time. You may pass through here, but you will move on. You will move on to an adult jail, and it will get better. The place is going down like tooth decay. HMP Aylesbury, we're signing out. There's a lady here, and the whole time I've been filming has been watching me. She's basically saying I'm not allowed to film. We're on public footpath. There's a lot of people walking by. We're on a main road. It's meant to be one of the most dangerous prisons in the country. It's so dangerous that the boys are right on the footpath. So if they're so dangerous, put them somewhere else. Put them in secluded somewhere. Don't put them right here, you know. We'll zoom in here to end. It's a very, very old building. Happy St George's Day to Aylesbury. Keep fighting, lads. You're normal people, you're human beings. You've made your mistakes, but you will be coming home. And this place is only going to be there for a while, and you will move on. You don't have to worry about this place for too long. It's got one hell of a reputation, but take it from someone that's actually lived in it all them years ago. Any place you're in, you can survive. Just keep your head down, try and learn something. Do your gym. The gym in here was actually good when I was in there. The officers, a lot of them are breeding from an army background in here when I was here. You can take that two ways. You could either fight them or work with them. And in the end, I would say you have to work with them. If you're 21 years old or 20 years old, you've got an officer that's 19 or 20 years old trying to teach you about life, it's very difficult. So that's where the system is failing now, because they just want pure numbers to recruit. So they need to change that, get back the older officers, make it a lot easier for the lads, and don't be bringing 20-year-olds in trying to teach 20-year-olds. It doesn't work. You've got to respect your elders, so if they're older than you, even though they're in a uniform, respect your elders and learn, because obviously you're inside for a reason. But obviously a lot of time that I have as well, especially when I lived in here, there was a lot of innocent lads, actually innocent people in prison as well, and obviously they don't get believing,